every day after work, or almost every day, I would go to the Perpetual Adoration Chapel. And I would just spend time in front of the Eucharist and just sit there and look at him like, man, you're awesome. I feel so much peace when I'm around you. And then even on my nights off, if I was out with my friends at a party, I could not stay longer than 5 minutes without leaving, making up an excuse and running to the Adoration Chapel. Or I had a girlfriend at this point. She was a devout Catholic woman. After I would drop her off from our dates, I would leave her and go to the Adoration Chapel and go pray. And it was really funny. There was a song out by a singer named Rihanna, and it was called Unfaithful. And so it's basically her talking about how she's unfaithful to her boyfriend or whoever he was with someone else.
Right.
And every time I would leave my girlfriend to go to the Adoration Chapel, I'd turn on the radio, and it would be that song coming on, and I know that something's unfaithful. And I would think, oh, God, I'm cheating on my girlfriend with Jesus Christ. And that's really how I felt. And I was like, man, I have to tell her one day what I'm doing, because I would never tell her I was going to the Adoration Chapel. I would just tell her I have something else to do.
Wait, so every time you'd leave,
I would leave her.
Just coincidentally, it would be on the
radio?
radio?
It would always just be on the radio, just that it would always, I mean, it was a popular song at the time also, so of course.
Really interesting.
But it was always on there, and I would sing it, I would just sing out the radio, and I know that she knows I'm unfaithful. But it was funny, but, and I did this for about 6 months. And after that, I realized this is where I feel peace, when I'm with Christ. And I know I can't run any longer, and because it's God who's calling me. And God finally gave me the grace after 6 months of this to finally say yes. And so I said yes, and I went through the process of going to the vocation director and meeting with him, and the psychological process and all that great stuff.
And they put you through a lot of testing, huh?
Oh, no, they do. You can't be crazy if you want to be a priest. They put you through the ringer. But it's good. We have to go to see a psychiatrist to make sure we're not crazy and all that good stuff.
That's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I'm sure that will relieve a lot of people to know that.
People, don't worry. The priests are legit. They're solid.
But you know what? I'm sitting here listening to you. I'm so amazed. You were so young. I mean, that's such a rare thing, I think, to know at such a young age. To hear God's voice, you know, to hear what he has to, I mean, I'm 46 years old. I'm still trying to hear, you know
what I mean?
He
speaks to us through so many avenues, through Scripture. Sometimes he may speak to us audibly or through our prayer life or through people. I mean, God speaks to us every single day. He's talking to us. And
I had a priest when I went to Medjugorje many years ago say that to me. We're all instruments of God.
Exactly.
And he uses people to, you know, share what he wants you to know.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I've had those experiences a few times in my life. It's very interesting, but not at 16 and not at 18 even.
Well, I was hard-headed, so
God
was, I mean, he doesn't do it so much anymore, but when I was younger, he was just hitting me over the head with 2x4s every day, like, look, I'm here, I want you. Now it's not so much the same. He's late, you know, I'm more content with the silence and everything now, but.
So what's the life of a seminarian like?
Interesting question. Before I entered seminary, I had preconceived notions of what's the seminary going to be like. I thought it was going to be a bunch of holy guys levitating, listening to Gregorian chant in monastic cells. I mean, I didn't know. I've never been to a seminary before.
Right.
And so, but once I got there, I realized it's normal guys. We had basketball players, football players, people who are in rock bands, you know. But I guess the thing that links us all together is that we're all trying to discern what is God calling us to. You know, we all feel called to holiness, but how are we going to achieve that holiness within our vocation?
Right.
And so that's when it's really good. In a day in the life of a seminarian, we wake up, we have adoration in the morning. It's optional from 6 to 7.
Wow.
Or 7:30, actually, I'm sorry. Then we have breakfast, morning prayer and community, classes between 8 o'clock and 11, and then Mass at 11:15, which is like the highlight of the day because you come together as a community to have that encounter with Christ.
And everybody goes.
Everyone,
it's mandatory.
It's mandatory, but I mean, everyone should want to go also because. And then it's also open
absolutely, but just so people know, you know, what your day is like.
It's mandatory Mass, daily Mass, and it's also open to the community also to come. After that, we have lunch as a community. We eat together. Then we have classes in the afternoon. Then we have Lectio Divina, our spiritual reading time around. And
explain what that is, because I had never heard of that, and I know.
Well, it's optional. Spiritual reading or Lectio. So spiritual reading is you can get a spiritual book, early church fathers, the saints, or whatever, and you read it for an amount of time in community before our evening prayer. Lectio Divina is more so you're praying with Scripture.
Right.
And so it's you're trying to get the ultimate goal of Lectio Divina is contemplation. You meditate, you pray, you read, but your ultimate goal is finally, and that's the grace of God. Not everyone can achieve that. So most people they're stuck on meditating, which is not a problem because we meditate on ourselves all day long. You know, we think about, oh, what am I going to do today? What is this? So when it comes to Scripture, to meditate on Scripture is a great thing.
Right.
But the ultimate goal is to have that experience with God where He leads you to another level. I don't know if I've ever experienced that yet. I don't think I have. But I mean, I'm hoping.
It's a process, right?
Yeah, it's a process. You get the Scripture, you read it, you pray with it, you meditate on it, and then hopefully, normally it's once you find something in the Scripture that catches your heart, you stop there and you repeat those words over and over again. And then after you do that, God may give you the grace to, bam, you're contemplating. It's like, this ecstasy.